Good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm going to go through exercise 7.3 from this particular textbook. Okay, so this is the Amath textbook. So for simplicity, right, I'm just going to go through 1B lah. Okay, so not 1A. So this is exercise 7.3. So for 1B, they want us to find the coordinate of the midpoint A and B. Okay, so this is coordinate A, this is coordinate B. So how do I find the midpoint of AB? So midpoint AB is equals to x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2, comma. Okay, bracket, sorry. So in this case, it is negative 5 plus 11 over 2, comma, 3 plus negative 7 over 2, right? Which simplifies to become 3, comma, negative 2. Okay, so this is the midpoint of AB for question 1B. Okay, let's move on to question 2. So for question 2, same thing, I'm only going to go through 2B. Okay, so given that M is the midpoint of AB, find the coordinate of A. Okay, so we have a midpoint, we have coordinate B. So they want us to find coordinate of A. All right, so we let coordinate A be x, comma, y. All right, so that means we have what? X plus negative 4 over 2, comma, y plus negative 8, comma, over 2, bracket, equals to negative 2, comma, 6. Okay, so because negative 2, comma, 6 is the midpoint. Okay, so that means we can say therefore x minus 4 over 2 equals to negative 2, and also y minus 8 over 2 equals to 6. So we can solve for x individually. So x minus 4 equals to negative 4, x equals to 4 minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, as for y, so y minus 8 equals to 12. So y equals to 12 plus 8 equals to 20. So therefore, our coordinate A is 0, comma, 20. Okay, so basically we are making use of the midpoint formula to find coordinate A. Okay, so this is it for question 1 and question 2. We're going through question 5. So the coordinate of the points PQ, R, and S are all these coordinate, right, respectively. Okay, so a line L passes through the midpoint of PQ, and this line L is also parallel to RS. So they want us to find the equation of L. So at the start, we must come out with the visualization for ourselves. So I'm just going to sketch, roughly do a sketch. So probably it's going to look like this. Okay, so let's plot P . So let's say P is like here. Okay, so this is P. Q probably around here. Q. Okay, so P is like 1, 6. Then Q is like 3, 2. R is probably around here. Probably here. Okay, R. Okay, so R is 11, 8. Okay, and then lastly for S, S should be somewhere here. So this is S, and then this is negative 1, 2. So it should be the same, it will be like horizontally with Q lah. Okay, because they have the same Y coordinate. Okay, so basically, then what they say, a line L passes through the midpoint of PQ. So that means we got to draw the line PQ first. Let me change another color. So line PQ is like that. Okay, then they say line L, right, passes through the midpoint of, okay, so let's assume L is like that. Okay, so this black line is L, so this is L. Okay, and then the midpoint of PQ, let's label as M. I hope you all can see, so maybe you might need to do a full screen for this. Okay, then this line L is also parallel to line RS. So I also going to draw line RS, something like that. Okay, and then going to label these both as parallel. Okay, so they ask us to find the equation of line L. Okay, so first thing first, we need to find the midpoint of PQ. Okay, so how to find the midpoint of PQ? So midpoint of PQ, which is M, right, is equals to 1 plus 3 over 2, comma, 6 plus 2 over 2 bracket. Okay, so equals to 4 divided by 2 is 2, so 2 comma 4. Okay, so the midpoint is 2 comma 4. All right, so then the second part we need to find is what? Is the gradient. Okay, so gradient of L. Okay, so how do we find gradient of L? Because L is parallel to RS, right? So gradient of M, gradient of, not M, sorry, gradient of L is equals to the gradient of RS. So gradient of RS is actually, so we're going to use the y1 minus y2 lah. So 8 minus 2 over 11 minus negative 1. Okay, so this gives us 6 over 10, no, 11. 6 over 11. Wait, 6, no, 6 over 12, sorry, because 11 plus 1, right? So 6 over 12, and this is half. Okay, and so now we need to move on to equation of L. Okay, so how to find equation of L? So we have the formula, right? So y equals to half x plus c. How come half? Because the gradient of L we have found out here is half. So y equals to half x plus c. So we need to sub in the midpoint, right? Which is, sorry, which is 2 comma 4. Okay, 2 comma 4 into the equation, into L, right? So we have 4 equals to half times 2 plus c. All right, so my c is actually equals to 4 minus 1 equals to 3. So therefore, my L equation is y equals to half x plus 3. Okay, so this is my L equation. So basically, in order to find equation of a line, right, you need to have y equals to mx plus c, right? So most important thing is you need to have the gradient, right? You need to have the y-intercept. So in order to find the y-intercept, you must have one coordinate. Okay, one coordinate that is on the line that you are finding or is given or whatever. Okay, so you must have one coordinate that is on the line. Okay, and then the gradient here, it depends. It could be, so in this case, they tell you that a line is parallel to this particular line L that you're finding. So parallel means gradient same. Okay, so in other cases, you may have a perpendicular lines which need you to do this lah. The gradient of L1 times the gradient of L2 equals to -1. You might need to use this formula if there is a perpendicular line. Okay, so this is it for question 5, and the answer is y equals to half x plus 3. Okay, this is for question 5. Okay, so let's go through question 6 together. The coordinate of the points P and Q are -6, 5 and 2, 15 respectively. So they want us to find the equation. Okay, they want us to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of PQ. So means, okay, let's draw some visualization. So P and Q. Okay, so P and Q. So P is what? -6, 5, and then Q is 2, 15. Okay, so we have a line P and Q. Okay, and then they want us to have another line, which is what we call perpendicular bisector. So that means this perpendicular bisector must cut P and Q in the center, at the center. So that means the length is the same, and this is the midpoint of PQ. Okay, so they want us to find this equation. Okay, this equation L. Okay, I'm just going to name it L lah. So I will say, let L be the bisector, perpendicular bisector, perpendicular bisector of PQ. Okay, so that means L is y equals to mx plus c. Like I said, in question 5, we need to find the gradient and the c, right? The y-intercept. So before I want to find the gradient, I want to find the midpoint of PQ. Okay, so midpoint PQ, right, is so negative 6 plus 2 over 2, comma 5 plus 15 over 2. All right, so this is actually negative 2, comma 10. Okay, so this is the midpoint of PQ. Okay, next I want to find the gradient. So because this is a perpendicular bisector, right? The two lines are perpendicular, so I need to find the gradient of PQ first. Okay, so the gradient of PQ is 15 y1 minus y2, 15 minus 5 over 2 minus negative 6. Okay, so this will give me 10 over 2 plus 6, which is 8. So equals to 10 over 8, so 5 over 4. Okay, so that means, yeah, it's 5 over 4. So we know that because they are perpendicular lines, right? So we know that the gradient of L times the gradient of PQ is equal to negative 1, right? So gradient of L is times 5 over 4 equals to negative 1. So that means our gradient of L is equals to negative 1 divided by 5 over 4, which is negative 4 over 5. Okay, so now we have the gradient of L. So that means our equation of L is y equals to negative 5 over 4 x plus c. Right, so now we need to sub in. Okay, we need to sub our midpoint of PQ, okay, which is negative 2, comma 10 into L. Why need to sub in midpoint? Because the perpendicular bisector will cut through the midpoint of PQ in order for it to be a perpendicular bisector. Okay, so then we have 10 equals to negative 4 over 5 times negative 2 plus C. So in short, my C is actually equals to 42 over 5. Okay, so therefore the equation of my perpendicular bisector is y equals to negative 4 over 5x plus 42 over 5. Okay, so this is my perpendicular equation of the perpendicular bisector of PQ. Okay, so take note, like I always say, you need to find the gradient, you need to find the y-intercept. Okay, so for the gradient, in this case, they tell us something is perpendicular to this line. Okay, so we make use of this formula over here, this thing. Okay, as for the y-intercept, we need a known coordinate, which in this case, because it is a perpendicular bisector, it will cut through the midpoint over here. So that's why we need to find the coordinate of the midpoint of PQ. And then after that, we sub it in like here, using this, in this step, in order to find our y-intercept. Okay, can? So this is it for question 6. Okay, let's go through question 7. So the line, right, x plus y equals to a meets the curve. So this is the curve at the points A and B. So now in this case, they are not going to tell us what is coordinate A and B, right? So find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. So what is so different from question 7 and question 6 is, right? Question 6, they tell us what is our A and B, right? I mean, theirs is P and Q, right? But in this case, it's A and B, but it's the same. So for question 6, they tell us what is our coordinate A and B, right? And then after that, the rest is the same steps for question 6. But for question 7, it is different, right? A and B is unknown, right? So first thing first, we have to solve for A and B. Okay, so basically the visualization goes like this. So you have a curve. Just take note, the curve might not look like, I mean, it's obviously not a quadratic curve, but I'm drawing a quadratic curve for simplicity. Okay, so a line cuts here, and let this line be, okay, by right, it's supposed to be downward sloping, right? Okay, let's draw a downward sloping line like that. Okay, so this is A, and this is B. Okay, then they say that they want to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of what? Of AB. So that means you have to draw a perpendicular bisector, something like that. Okay, and then so this is the center, right? This is going to be the midpoint. Okay, the midpoint of AB, and then of course the length will be the same. Okay, yeah. So first thing on the menu, right? You got to find coordinate A and coordinate B. So we got to do this thing called simultaneous, right? And especially, okay, it's called simultaneous non-linear equation, right? So x plus y equals to 8, and then x equals to 8 minus y. Okay, so this is equation 1. And then y square equals to 6x minus 32. So this is equation 2. So what do? Sub equation 1 into equation 2. Okay, this is what you have to do. Okay, then the next is just sub it in, right? So y square equals to 6 bracket 8 minus y minus 32. Okay, I'm just going to cut short all this. So when you simplify it, okay, never mind, I'll just show lah. So y square equals to 48 minus 6y, right, minus 32. So y square plus 6y minus 16, right, equals to 0. So when you solve for this, okay, just give me a while. When you solve for this, you are supposed to get 2 and negative 8. So yeah, so you have this y minus 2, y plus 8 equals to 0. So y equals to 2 and y equals to negative 8. Okay, so then you're going to sub lah. So sub y equals to 2 into equation 1. So you have x equals to 8 minus 2 equals to 6. Okay, then you got to sub again. Sub y equals to negative 8 into equation 1. So you have x equals to 8 minus negative 8, which is 16. So therefore, the two coordinates here, the A, wait, the A should be 6, comma 2, and then the B is going to be 16, comma negative 8. Yep. Okay, so now we have found the two coordinate A and B. Okay, so after finding coordinate A and B, everything else is the same for question 6. Okay, so this is number 1. Number 1 is find A and B. Then number 2, right, you need to find the midpoint. Okay, midpoint of AB. So it's equals to, so same thing, 6 plus 16 over 2 bracket, comma, 2 plus negative 8 over 2, right? So this is actually 11, comma, negative 3. Okay, so the midpoint here is 11, comma, negative 3. Okay, so same thing. Then the third part, you need to find the gradient of the perpendicular bisector. Okay, oh yeah, I'll label this red line as L also lah. Okay, so find the gradient. Okay, maybe I need to write this. Okay, before I write lah. So number 3, I need to find gradient of L lah. Okay, so this number 2, number 3 is all pointers lah. So before you do this, you must write let L be the perpendicular bisector. Okay, so that means y equals to, okay, yeah, so find gradient of L, right? So we know that the gradient of L times the gradient of AB is equal to -1, right? Because they are perpendicular, right? So we need to find gradient of AB first. So gradient of AB is equals to y1 minus y2. So let me see. Okay, so 2 minus -8 over 6 minus 16. Okay, so this one will give me 10 over -10, which is -1. Okay, so that means my gradient L, right, times -1 equals to -1. So therefore, okay, I'm going to write it over here. So therefore, my gradient L is actually equals to 1. Because negative, okay, negative 1 divided by negative 1 is just equals to 1. So my L is actually y equals to 1x plus c, right? So I'm not going to write 1, so I'm just going to write x plus c. Okay, so now I need to find my y-intercept. So previously, we found the midpoint of AB, right? And then L passes through the midpoint. So I'm just going to sub the midpoint, right, of AB into my L, my line L, right? So my midpoint is 11 comma negative 3. So that means negative 3 equals to 11 plus c. So c equals to negative 14. Okay. So lastly, just change the color. So lastly, therefore, my L, right, is y equals to x minus 14. Okay. So this is the equation of line L. So basically, what is so different about question 6 and 7 is that question 7, they didn't give us A and B. Right, so we have to go through the hassle of doing simultaneous to find A and B. So this is the only difference for like between question 6 and 7. Okay, so that's it for question 7. Okay, let's go through question 8 together. So the diagram shows a rhombus. So this is a rhombus in which the points P and R are 4, R and 3, 4 respectively. So it's given on the diagram lah. Okay, then origin here, it means 0, 0. So some students don't know. Just to remind you, it's 0, 0. It's not 0, 0. Yes, that's for origin. Okay, so find the value of R. They want us to find this value over here. Okay, so first thing first, because this is a rhombus, it means that all the length are the same, right? Right, so that means we can say that OR is actually equals to OP lah. Why? Because rhombus. Okay, it's part of the rhombus property, right? So knowing this, we can create an equation using length of line segment. Okay, so number 1, length of line segment. Okay, so that means so we're gonna find out the length for OR and then equal it to the length of OP. So square root, right, for OR first. So square root 3 minus 0 square plus 4 minus 0 square equals to, now for this side is the OP lah. So square root 4 minus 0 square plus R minus 0 square. Okay, so basically I'm just going to simplify it. So square both sides to get rid of the square root. So I will have 9 plus 16 equals to 16 plus R square. Okay, so R square is equals to 9, R equals to plus minus 3. Okay, but you got to reject lah. Reject negative 3 because the R, coordinate P is on the positive side of the x-axis, right? So R equals to negative 3 is being rejected. So therefore, my R is equals to 3. Okay, so this is for part 1. Okay, part 1. Okay, then for part 2, right? I will try to squeeze in all into this, but if I cannot, I will just erase part 1. So if you guys need, you got to rewind the video lah. So for part 2, oh wait, that's my cursor. Okay, yeah, sorry. So for part 2, I'm going to do it on the left. So part 2, so they want us to find the coordinate of the midpoint PR. Okay, so this is simple. So midpoint PR is equals to, since we know R already, right? So it will just be 3 plus 4 over 2, 4 plus 3 over 2, which will give us the same value lah. So 7 over 2, 7 over 2. If you want to write 3.5, it's fine also. 3.5, 3.5 is fine. Okay. Now for part 3. So part 3. Okay, so for part 3, hence find the coordinate of Q. Okay. So because just now we mentioned, right? Or rather the question mentioned OPQR is a rhombus, right? So the midpoint, listen, the midpoint of OQ and the midpoint of PR, this midpoint will be the same. Okay, the midpoint will be the same. Okay, because it's a rhombus. So we will let Q be A, comma B. Okay, let the coordinate of Q be A, comma B. So therefore, we can say that what? Okay, never mind. Let me write out. So midpoint of OQ is equals to midpoint of PR because of rhombus property, right? So that means I can say that, and then OQ, right? So O is the origin, right? So I can say that A plus 0 over 2, comma, B plus 0 over 2 is equals to 7 over 2, comma, 7 over 2. Okay, this is found in part 2, right? Which is the midpoint of PR. So I can therefore, okay, maybe here, therefore I can say A over 2 is equals to 7 over 2, and also B over 2 is equals to 7 over 2, right? So therefore my A is 7, and then my B is also 7. So I also can conclude and say my coordinate Q is 7, comma 7. Okay, so this is it for question 8. Pretty simple question. Mainly is you need to know the properties of rhombus and also the formula for the length of line segment. Okay, so that's it. This is it for question 8. Okay, let's go through question 11 together. So luckily, they draw us the diagram, so we don't really need to draw. So the diagram shows a triangle ABC, right? So ABC here, and they give us a coordinate, all right? I'm not going to read out because it's on the diagram. So part 1, show that ABC is an isosceles triangle. So for isosceles triangle, you got to show that what? Two length is the same, right? So as you can tell, all right, okay, I mean, the diagram might not be drawn to scale, right? But you can see that, BC and CA or AC, right, is the shorter length. So let's find out the length of BC and the length of AC, right, in order to show that they are the same. Because if the moment they are the same, means it is an isosceles triangle, right? So let's find the length of BC. So length BC is equals to square root, right? -2 minus 5 square plus 4 minus 3 square, which will give me square root 50. Okay, then length of AC is equals to square root 6 minus 5 square, because 6 minus 5 square plus -4 minus 3 square, which will give me square root 50. Okay, then I will say, oh, since BC is equals to AC, triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle. Okay, can? So this is it for part 1. Okay, now for part 2. So find the midpoint of AB, right? So very simple. So midpoint AB is equals to, so 6 plus -2 over 2, comma, -4 plus 4 over 2, right? So this is just equals to 2, comma 0. Yep. So this is the midpoint of AB. Okay, then the last one, part 3. So hence calculate the area of triangle ABC. Okay, so what we are going to do is to do I guess half the base sum side, right? So basically, wait, because this is isosceles triangle, right? So we can find out. Okay, we need this, definitely. We need the perpendicular height, and then we need AB as well. Okay, we need AB as well. Oh, okay. So because we found out the midpoint here, right? By right, because this is an isosceles triangle, so this perpendicular line will also cut through M. So this is midpoint is M lah. Okay, so we got to find CM first. So CM is 5 minus 2 square, right? Plus 3 minus 0 square, which will give us, oh, this is a little bit too long. Which will give us square root 18 lah. Okay, square root 18. And then if you simplify surds, it will give us 3 root 2. Okay, this is for the length cm, the perpendicular height. And then we need to find our AB. Okay, so AB, same thing, the length of AB, 6 minus -2 square plus -4 minus 4 square. All right, so this is equals, wait, just let me double confirm. So, okay, so this is equals to square root 128, and then this is 8 root 2. Okay, let me just key in a quick one. So yes, yeah, so 8 square root. Okay, so area of triangle ABC, and then hence, right? Hence, because we need to make use of M here, right? This M is midpoint of AB, which is found in part 2, right? So how to find area of triangle? So half times AB times CM, half times base times height lah, basically. So half times 8 root 2 times 3 root 2. Okay, so equals to 20. Okay, let me just do some manual to show you. So 2 and 8 can cancel. So you have 4 root 2 times 3 root 2, right? Equals to 4 times 3 times 2, which is equals to 24 units square. Okay, so the area of a triangle is 24 units square. So just take note lah, because this is an isosceles triangle, right? The perpendicular height, right? Or rather the perpendicular distance from C to this line AB, right, will touch the midpoint of AB. So that's why CM is the perpendicular height. So perpendicular height corresponding to this base AB. So that's why I need to find this two length, right? And then do half times base times height. So half times base and then times, this is my perpendicular height. Okay, just to be clear lah on this. Okay, so this is it for question 11. So part 1 on, oh yeah, part 1 is the blue one on top, part 2 is the red, and part 3 is the black. Okay, so yes, this is it for question 11. Okay, let's go through question 12 together. So diagram is given, luckily. So the diagram shows a triangle ABC with vertices at A, B, and C. Okay, so yeah, it's already labeled on the diagram. And it tells us that M and N are midpoints of A, B, and B, C respectively. Okay, so the line MN, right? MN here intersects the x-axis at P. So P is on the x-axis. Okay, so next part 1. So part 1, what they want? The coordinate of M and N. Okay, so simple, right? So for coordinate M, is M is midpoint of AB, right? So M is equals to 6 plus 8, right? Over 2, comma 8 plus -4 over 2, right? Which is equals to 7, comma 2. And then for N is just, N is the midpoint of BC, right? So it's just -2 plus 8, comma 2, I mean over 2, comma, -2 plus -4, right? So -4 over 2. So equals to 3, comma -3. Okay, so this is coordinate M and coordinate N. So part 1. Okay, done. So M is, I'm just going to write on the diagram now. So 7, comma 2. And then N is 3, comma -3. Whoops. -3. Yep. Okay, so this is N. Okay, so part 1. Okay, part 2 next. Part 2. So part 2 want us to find coordinate of P, right? So P is on the x-axis, right? So that means we can say let P be A, comma 0. Because when you're on the x-axis, the y coordinate, right, will be 0. Okay, so because P is also on the same line as MN, we can say what? The gradient of MN is equals to the gradient of MP, right? Yeah, there's another way you can do it, which is find equation of line, but I feel that this is way faster. Okay, so what is gradient of mn? So gradient of mn is just y1 minus y2 lah. So 2 minus -3 over 7 minus 3 is equals to gradient of mp, right? I'm going to write gradient of mp in terms of a, right? So it will be 2 minus 0, right, over 7 minus a. Okay, so just simplify this and find a, right? So you will have 6 over 4 equals to 2 over 7 minus a. Is it 6? Oh, no, no, it's 5. 5 over, oh my God. Yeah, so careless lah. So 5 over 4 equals to 2 over 7 minus a. So cross multiply and everything. So 35 minus 5a equals to 8. So 5a equals to 27. So a equals to 5 whole 2 over 5. So therefore, my coordinate p is 5 whole 2 over 5, comma 0. Okay, so this is my coordinate p. Okay, so part 3, I'm going to do it on the left. So part 3, so what they want? Ratio of MP to PN. So we got to find the length lah. Okay, so the length of length of MP. Okay, so length of MP is equals to square root. Okay, this is quite a mouthful to write and what lah. So 7 minus 5 whole 2 over 5 square plus 2 minus 0 square. Okay, which you can simplify to become square root 164 over 25. Okay, then you need to find the length of Pn as well. So square root 5 whole 2 over 5 minus 3 square plus 0 minus -3 square. Okay, so this will give us square root 369 over 25. Okay, so now ratio, right? So MP is to PN is square root 164 over 25 is to square root 369 over 25. So if you key in this into a calculator, is equals to 2 is to 3. Okay, so how do you key this in? So you should key in this. Square root 164 over 25 divide by square root 369 over 25. So once you key it in, you can try on your calculator. So square root 164 over 25 divided by square root 369 over 25. Then you will get a very weird number, but you are supposed to get wait, hold on. Oh, I key wrongly. You are supposed to get the 2 over 3. Yeah, so you will get 2 over. I key this as 4 instead, so it's my bad. Yeah, it's supposed to be 5. But anyway, I wrote 5 here lah. So yes, if you key in all this, square root 164 over 25 divided by square root 369 over 25, you will get the answer 2/3. Okay, so that's why it is 2 is to 3. Okay, so part 3 is done. The ratio of MP is to PN is 2 is to 3. Okay, so this is the last question, question 12 for exercise 7.3.